Welcome in, everyone, to Football Friday, presented by Football Addicts Anonymous. Might be changing that presentation soon. Things are like Mark and I were talking about literally right before the show. But anyways, great to have Mark and Chris here. Everyone back together again. So we're gonna go fast and furious. We got a lot of games to go through. Had some Wednesday night football, had some Thursday night football, college and NFL. So let's get it rolling here.
Missed you guys.
Missed you too.
So Wednesday night football, a shocker. Number 14, Coastal Carolina goes down in North Carolina, in Boone, North Carolina, to Appalachian State, 30-27. Continues the streak of Coastal never winning at Appalachian State. And also only the second ranked win ever by Appalachian State, and everyone knows the only other one.
Michigan.
Number 2000. Good old Michigan in the big house. Armani Edwards. But anyways, Chase Bryce, very good. Coming off poor performance against Louisiana last week. Very good in this one. It was more of the running game, though. Nate Noel, Cameron Peoples, dominant on the ground, and Coastal couldn't get enough offensively going, especially with their running game. Grayson McCall, I thought, played fine, but just wasn't enough.
We were talking about making the show shorter. All I have to say is I know somebody that was in the stands, texted me the entire game, and he said, I just feel like App is going to win this. And I said, and he's a football coach in North Carolina. He took his young nephew to the game, and he goes, it has everything for an upset. And I said, okay, let's hear it. And at every turn, there was an answer. And I think a lot of it was, when I turned it on the TV, there was a lot of penalties in this game. If no one watched it, and it was just neck and neck, and they came out on the winning side.
Yes, Malik Williams, dominant in the receiving game as well, 10 for 206 and a touchdown.
He was fun to watch.
Corey Sutton for App as well. Those two combined for 319 of the 347 Bryce threw for. Devon Hiley also 100-yard game once again. Part of the highly likely combination in Coastal. Defensively, I am going with Caleb Sperlin for Appalachian State. 5 tackles, 2 solos, sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, and a quarterback hurry. App State plus 4.5, under 61. I lost money on Coastal Live money line.
Before we move on, I didn't believe in Chase Bryce, but I saw some throws and he redeemed what I thought was not a good performance, at Clemson, Duke, and now.
And they're in the driver's seat now in the Sun Belt East. All right, last night, college football, there were 4 games. We're only going to go over 2. Number 21, SMU crushing Tulane 55-26. Tanner Mordecai once again. Marvelous performance, 427, 3 touchdowns, ran one in as well, 71% completion. Got 81 yards on the ground from Siggers, and a bunch of guys scored for the Mustangs. So Tulane's just a trash bin right now. So
yeah, I was gonna say Tulane. I feel like they're normally better than a 1-6 record. This year, they just seem like they can't get anything right.
It was the start of the season. Put all their effort into that Oklahoma game, subsequently lost. Then they were still dealing with being away for a couple weeks because of the hurricane, not having a home game. So
Tough situation.
Danny Gray, 140 yards off 8 receptions in this one for SMU. Good game there. Defensively, there wasn't much, but I'm going to go with Richard Moore. 3 tackles, 2 solos, tackle loss, and 2 quarterback hurries. But yeah, I love Tanner Mordecai is a man. He is a beast. Doesn't turn it over much and throws a lot of touchdowns. SMU covered -14, over 71 hit. 71.
That's a lot.
The other game last night in college, we're going to cover Louisiana squeaks one out at Arkansas State, 28-27. Levi Lewis was atrocious, but it was okay because his buddy Chris Smith and his other buddy Montrell Johnson said, "We got you, bro. We're just going to combine for 388 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns and go win this game on the ground."
That's insane.
Johnson's rushing stats are misleading. He had a 99-yard touchdown run.
Okay.
But Smith's are real. I believe 74 of those were on 1 touchdown run. But the rest of it,
Sometimes that's all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a lot of 74 yards. And then there was another big play in this one as well, which was a 76-yard touchdown. Arkansas State Lane Hatcher to Tavalence Hunt there. So that took up most of his yards in leading the game and receiving. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what you could ask from Lane Hatcher. 303 touchdowns, better completion percentage probably, but 303 touchdowns, no interceptions is hard to say no to.
I would take that all day, every day.
Yeah. The issue is that they had 2 drives that kicked field goals. That was the 1-point difference. Louisiana scored 4 touchdowns. Arkansas State only scored 3 and 2 field goals. Defensively, Joe Ozagwu for Arkansas State, 8 tackles, 7 solos, sacked, 3 tackles for loss, and a quarterback hurry. Raging Cade was looking good. They got the easy side of the Sun Belt though. They're on the western side. Not many teams are good on the west. Arkansas State covered +18 under 70. Let's go to Monday Night Football. Titans, shocker, at home, 34-31 over the Bills. We all know this should not have happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I don't know, Metcalf out there with the Josh Allen slipping on the grass on the 4th and inches.
Look, I could care less if this was supposed to happen or not. The storyline of this game is if Derrick Henry can keep this up for the next 5 or 6 years, Emmitt Smith's record is going to be shattered. Now, I think the question that we need to all ask each other as a podcast is, can he keep that up? The dude is bigger than – he's like a dinosaur running on the I just thought to myself, how can you compare Derrick Henry to anybody else? And it has nothing to do with looks or anything, but I attribute it to being a dinosaur that takes a lot of people to take him down.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a shot at the all-time record if he can keep this up. We all know running back injuries. We know what can happen. But the dude is just doesn't remind me of Marshawn Lynch in the way he runs, but he's the exact model of what beast mode is. And he drove this game. And if he keeps it up for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, if he can play, what I would say, if he can still run at the age of Frank Gore, he's going to have the all-time rushing record. And that's none of us picked the Titans. And is it a shocker? Yes. Kind of no. But he dictated this game in so many ways. And he's a phenomenal running back. And we think about running backs. I think about LaDainian Tomlinson in my time frame. We talk about Zeke or Saquon when he's healthy. This is actually a guy that just runs, and you don't even have to worry about if he catches passes because he's that good.
No,
Yeah, he's definitely the best pure runner in all of football.
No, he won't break Emmitt Smith's record. He won't last that long. I don't care. People have been saying that the last 3 years or whatever. I don't care. I'm going to continue to say it. It does. He's 6'4", 250. And eventually,
I agree with you on that. But if they get it,
that size,
if they get a different quarterback, maybe.
I think Ryan Tannehill's fine. It's a perfect system for what he does. But and plus, I don't think he's gonna break records. Look, he only had 143 yards off 20 carries. If you're gonna, granted, have an extra game now every season. But how many of those are the Titans gonna be already into the playoffs because they won their division? Because their division is so weak that they're going to be in the playoffs already because they already won their division. How many week 18 games are they actually going to play their starters?
Yeah. No, but yeah, I just looked up the stats because I was curious, and Derrick Henry still has 12,000 yards to go to catch up to Emmitt Smith. So yeah, it's going to be nearly impossible for him to do it unless, like Mark said, he plays till like the age of Frank Gore,
or
I don't see happening.
Or he averages 1,500 yards per season, which is tough to keep up. I don't know what his average is right now. It's probably around 1,200, I would think. 11 or 1,200 yards per season, I would think, is what he's been around. Because I know the last 3 seasons, he's ran for around 1,300-ish. So
yeah, he's at 6,600 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So yeah, he's like 1,100 yards. Yeah.
So yeah, I would take 10 more seasons essentially to get there, which I don't think he plays 10 seasons. Whether that's his body holding up or whether that's him personally saying, this is it. So, but yeah, other than that, I was very close on my same game parlay. Really, I needed Emmanuel Sanders to score. Stephon Diggs came up about 7 yards short for me. And
he tied his brother at least.
Oh, Moss didn't get any rushing yards that I needed. So I believe Zach Moss was like 10 rushing yards short or something like that, 9.
Oh.
Yeah. It was close. It was very close. I thought Emmanuel Sanders was going to score, and he should have at one time. But anyways.
This is what I was saying, though, in fantasy with the Buffalo receivers. I don't think that Sanders or Beasley are reliable fantasy options every week because 1 week one goes off and the other one doesn't get any catches and then it flips. So,
but what was great about Beasley in this game? He hadn't been doing much, and I started him last week in my dynasty league. And it was Cole. I was up by 4 going into the game. I started Cole Beasley against Stephon Diggs, and I won. Because Cole Beasley only got outscored by Diggs by like 1 point or something like that.
Yeah, I'm still mad that I decided to bench him last week, and it cost me the game because I only lost by a point. But oh
well. Defensively, let's go Harold Landry. 8 tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hits. the only guy that can actually rush the passer. I mean, even though Jeffrey Simmons did have a sack, but Harold Landry's their stud. Even though they're paying Bud Dupree to be the stud, but it's really Harold Landry. Titans +6 over 54. Last night, Thursday Night Football, Browns squeaking it out at home against the Broncos, 17-14. Neither quarterback wowed you. I mean, you could say that Case Keenum wowed you, but when you look at the stats, it's under 10 yards per completion. Had a good quarterback rating. Both did. Decent anyway. I mean, over 100 is definitely better. But the story was Dearness Johnson. I mean, 22 carries, 146, touchdown, 2 receptions, 22 yards. Undrafted out of South Florida a couple seasons ago. Sent Instagram messages to the AAF teams when that league started. Got signed. Is it with the Apollos? I think so. The Orlando Apollos, I believe that's who he was with. And got his shot. He came in as a third string running back. Chubb, Hunt both out here. So
I'm telling you, if I were the Browns, I mean, I can't think off the top of my head what the severity of Hunt and Chubb's injuries are, but I don't think they were significant to the point where they will need Dearness Johnson for the rest of the season. So with the trade deadline approaching, I would consider putting him on the block if I were the Browns.
Yeah. That means you'd have
Cash in when you can.
You'd have to trust Demetric Felton to take the third running back role, which the rookie, I'm not sure yet. But he's also more of a receiver than he is a running back. He's played both, though. I was happy Javonte Williams scored and got a lot of receptions, upped his points total to 17.2 last night. It was a nice night for him in fantasy. Even though neither could get much going on the ground, the Broncos had no rushing game at all. And I was disappointed Tim Patrick didn't get as involved as I would have liked. Didn't even get close to my same game parlay of Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick props. So
I was disappointed in Noah Fant, though. He had an okay day. He got me like over 8 fantasy points, but that's, I feel like, underachieving for him. I thought he could have gotten at least double digits.
Yeah. Well, like Mark and I were talking about, there was no reason for the Broncos not to start Drew Lock in the second half, considering what Teddy Bridgewater did and what he looked like with his knee injury playing out there. So, but he did get him close. He gave him a chance to win anyways. But shout out to Johnny Stanton, fullback, catching a 1-yard touchdown pass. There you go. And defensively, a lot of good performances. And I'm going to go on the Broncos. Shelby Harris, 4 tackles, 3 solos, sack, tackle for loss, quarterback hit, and a blocked field goal. Browns covered -2, under 40. I was excited. I got Broncos early, very early on in the week. When it was first announced that Kareem Hunt was going on IR, I was like, boom. And that Baker might not play. I was like, dude, I got to lock in Broncos right now. Luckily, I didn't go the money line route. I went the spread route. So I got the Broncos at +4. Very happy about that. And I also have them in my teaser +8. which I was excited about as well. So, all right, NCAA news. I think this is the most NCAA news we've ever had, y'all. There is a lot going on right now, and it is like the Wild Wild West out there. We're going to start with coaches, though. So we already said last week, Washington State fired head coach Nick Rolovich. He is now suing Washington State University for illegal termination, among other things. Essentially, that they terminated him because him and 4 of his assistants refused to get the COVID vaccine, which the governor mandated, put a mandate into effect that all state employees had to get the vaccine, and they refused. So Washington State said, okay, you're gone.
So I don't understand how he has a case at all to sue.
Because the biggest thing he was bringing up was that they are Catholics, and that the religious beliefs of Catholics is to not get vaccinations. I think. I don't know. I'm not Catholic. I don't know that much about Catholicism to know specifically or exactly what, if that's correct or not. But I did see one other thing in the article that said, even though he's a Catholic and that he says it violates his religious beliefs, the Pope, who, as we know, is the person that is the almighty power in the Catholic faith, said that people should get the vaccine. So, yeah, I'm not sure how valid his claim it would be. I kind of brought this up just because I was in law school too. But it is an interesting situation. And
from what I have read, this doesn't bode well for either sides. What Rolovich is saying is they determined this 4 months ago without him, and he was still doing research, and you hired me not as a Catholic affiliate. And so what do we do now? Your side says this, your side says this, so let's bring in lawyers. And I think when I say I think it's funny, it shouldn't be funny, is both sides are going to bring a case together, right? That says religious exemption versus non-religious exemption. He's never going to coach. Here's the bottom line. He's never going to coach football at Washington State again. And what it's going to work itself out is how much is he owed versus how much he's not owed, if that makes sense.
yeah, I believe that
it's always a money thing, right? It's always a money thing.
Yeah, because I believe they said they weren't going to pay. They weren't required to pay the rest of his salary.
And what his law team, and he hasn't said this, is what they've said is he never said he wasn't going to get vaccinated. He was going to wait till the last minute, which could be a standoff, right? Like, we're going to go out and have a standoff. He could have done it at the midnight hour, and you terminated him right before that. And that was what his play is, right? His whole defense team is going to say that. There's nothing that said he wasn't going to get vaccinated at midnight hour.
I would agree with him, though. It doesn't make sense that he was terminated now versus before the season. Granted, I mean, obviously that comes into play when the governor of Washington brought the mandate down. But yeah,
it's kind of an interesting story, but not at the same time, because he's never going to coach there again. And so, what's the monetary value?
Yep. One person that is going to coach for quite a long time still at his current place is Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy. Worked out an agreement with the university on a 5-year deal. So he is a Cowboy for years to come.
Well deserved.
I agree with Chris to some extent. At the same extent, I wonder if he has a lot of what's a good word? A lot of plethora on the whole athletic department, because he himself has had some turmoils, whether it's wearing a shirt on the lake in Oklahoma, and they have different views versus the West and East, but
Yeah.
he's won a lot of ball games. I'm not going to say anything about that. They're undefeated right now. Yet he's never been in a college football playoff, though.
Yeah. But
And I don't think anyone's going to come to Stillwater that's going to do any better than him. So I do agree with what Chris is saying. But he's had his hiccups, and I kind of like that in some ways. Like, you forgive people, you grow. He said, I'm going to learn from my players. He never said, oh, I'm set in my ways. I like that as somebody. Let's learn from my mistakes, and I like that about him.
yes, always in contention for the Big 12 championship yearly, it seems like. And I like him for the Big 12 championship this year. So go beat freaking Oklahoma. I don't like Oklahoma anymore.
Beat Bedlam.
It's in Stillwater this year, so. All right, now let's get to my favorite college news. This is why I said it's Wild Wild West out here. So, realignment, conference realignment. So we already had BYU, Houston.
Oh, God.
What were the other ones? SMU,
Houston, UCF.
UCF. Going to the Big 12. And now we have the American replacing their teams they lost. So they are adding from Conference USA, Charlotte, FAU, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and UTSA. 6 teams they're bringing in. It's going to make the American get up to 14 teams.
If you want me to take this as a resident expert, all I have to say is what I have been saying about the entire NCAA from the top down is you have to be proactive, and this is proactive. That doesn't mean that this is going to put you in the Power 5, because we know the Power 5s. What this is going to create is the one conference that's always going to be in the discussion. If you bounce from 4 to 6 to 8 to 12, you're always going to have a seat at the table. And I love it by the conference commissioner. I just absolutely love it. I hate that it is a Wild Wild West. I am a fan from basketball, that I know football broke up one of the best conferences in basketball was the Big East Conference basketball. That will never be the same, but it's being proactive, and I love it. So good on conference commissioner.
Yeah, and so like I said, they're going to lose Houston, Cincinnati, UCF.
People would say it would be like a watered down version, but the team that they're losing, I think they could compete in the Big 12.
Yeah. But now this brings into question Conference USA, because
I don't think that's right.
They also lost more teams. They lost more teams today because
Conference USA is gone.
The Sun Belt came in today, and they are pulling from Conference USA Marshall, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss, as well as the shocker that I did not see coming. James Madison is moving up from the FCS to the FBS into the Sun Belt.
Here's the one team I don't agree with. in all of that. And the reason I don't agree with that is Marshall should go to the AAC. There is no reason that Marshall should attach them. I just, the way geographically, we're talking about all the teams that went in there, North Texas, UTSA, Marshall should attach themselves with the American Athletic Conference. That's the only one I don't agree with.
Yeah, so this leaves Conference USA with Western Kentucky, Mid Tennessee, FIU, UTEP, Louisiana Tech, and that's it. 5, I believe.
And that conference is not going to exist. You can't have a conference with 5 people. They're going to go to different conferences for whatever reason.
Do they actually have to, though? Because why not just bring in, Liberty, UMass, New Mexico State, UConn, all independents right now?
They have to agree to that first.
Those 4 teams.
And I do, and that was the news, right? Will these teams attach themselves?
Yeah, because if they bring those 4, it's up to 9, so you can have a conference with 9 teams. Doable. There's conferences in FCS that have less, that have like 6 teams. So.
The one team that I don't understand what's going on, because I think Marshall has a good product, if that makes sense. And all of them have good products. I don't want to, James Madison has won a lot, but how did Marshall, like, if I'm the AD at Marshall, I'm on the phone with the AAC going, why didn't you ask us? Because we've been in the last 2 NCAA tournaments for basketball. We've had Randy Marshall and Byron Leftwich and Chad Henne and all. Like, why didn't you? There's just questions that I would have to ask at Marshall before someone asked me to help their conference survive without saying, "Hey, you need me."
I was shocked by Charlotte. I was really shocked by Charlotte. Charlotte has had a meteor. I mean, they just became an FBS team, I believe, in 2018.
But that's the hub of the East Coast, right? Like, you have Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Hornets. You have a AAA team. You have a big media presence. I think that had a lot to do with it.
Right, but I'm saying that they have just becoming an FBS team 3 years ago or whatever it was, and now they're already going to a better conference with more money. That's
not to backtrack, but with all those invites, we said there was how many teams in the AAC now?
There would be 14, I believe, if I counted right.
That's an even number, so you could have 7 and 7 on both sides.
If they go back to a divisional setup, because they did away with that this year.
So if they didn't have a divisional setup, why don't I just don't understand why Marshall is, and I'm with you. Charlotte is just a new football program. How did Marshall get left out? I'm scratching my head on that one. Not everybody's going to agree with me. I just don't know how Marshall was left out.
They wanted too much money, probably.
Well, hey, that's what runs everything, right?
I was really shocked by James Madison as well. I did not see them coming up to the FBS. But James Madison's a very good program. So
it is.
And now the Sun Belt is loaded. James Madison, App State, Coastal, Louisiana, and also if we want to include Marshall in that category.
Well, I mean, and maybe that's something that I haven't thought about that. There's a difference between a brand name and being loaded, because the Sun Belt is loaded. Maybe Marshall said, you know what? You have more names in your programs, but we have a better product.
I think the Sun Belt could become the next AAC. with what the AAC is losing.
And you know what's not fair for me to say is Marshall probably got an invite. When people talk about someone got an invite and they accepted it, that means they want to move. Marshall could have said, "No, I think we're good," because you can still dominate it, not dominate it, but there's good people coming into our conference, and our personal brand is still good enough.
No one ever talks about declined invitations because they rarely happen, I feel like.
I would actually like to see how many people decline, like the Big 12, decline the AAC. I would like to, because that won't be public.
But yeah, I believe they said as early as this weekend or early next week that could be official. These teams going to the Sun Belt. The American teams are official, that those teams got their applications accepted by the conference, but the Sun Belt ones are not official yet. Should be coming in the next couple of days though. And 2024, I believe, is the big year for teams to move from the AAC. Obviously, we know they can get out earlier if the conferences negotiate a lesser settlement. All right, NFL news. The Eagles, they opened the practice window for tight end Tyree Jackson coming off IR. Great to hear that. With the Zach Ertz trophy, they needed a backup and played pretty well in preseason. So excited to see him come off of IR. The Saints, they designated linebacker Quan Alexander, defensive end Marcus Davenport, and wide receiver Traquan Smith to return from IR.
All much needed additions to that team. So glad to see them all coming back.
Yes, bunch of reinforcements coming, possibly even as soon as the Monday night game against the Seahawks in Seattle. The Colts, they activated quarterback Sam Ellinger from IR. We will talk about the other quarterback implications that had on Indy.
Uh-huh.
The Browns, before last night's game, they placed running back Kareem Hunt with his calf injury and linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah with his ankle injury on IR. Patriots did the same with linebacker Chase Winovich. Colts also placing wide receiver Paris Campbell on IR. He had successful surgery, potentially season-ending surgery on his knee, I believe it is.
You never want to root for somebody to get hurt, but that helps me a lot in fantasy, being an owner of Michael Pittman. So
I feel it is terrible. He was a guy I had a lot of hope for coming out in 2017 as a what was it? Can't remember what draft pick, what round he got drafted by the Colts, but had a lot of hope for him. And I know I'm pretty sure I even drafted him in our initial Dynasty League draft. I think I did anyways. And then I kept him for a season and then he got hurt and then he got hurt again. So just can't stay on the field.
Nope.
Falcons today, they placed pass rusher Dante Fowler on IR. COVID-wise, the Bengals, they activated running back Samaje Perine from the COVID list. And the Bears, they placed both linebacker Robert Quinn and tight end Jimmy Graham on the COVID list. Injury-wise here, Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield expected to need surgery at the end of the season on his torn labrum. And actually, during Fox's NFL halftime, I didn't know this, but Jay Glazer said that he also has a fracture in his shoulder as well.
Ooh.
As the torn labrum. So I have no idea how Baker is playing or is playing.
He's actually.
Yeah, he plans to play it out the rest of the season. So
running backs, but against
Yeah, internet is great right now. And it doesn't say it's mine for once.
Yeah, it might be mine. I just went through a dead spot, but I think I'm good now.
Yeah, you are. So go back like 45 seconds. No, you're not. You're not good, Chris. You're not good, Chris. All right. I can't understand what you're saying right now. So, but we'll move on. Right, Mark? We'll move on. The Titans, they are going to be without corner Caleb Farley. He tore his ACL and is done for the year. Big blow to their secondary that already sucks, and big blow to their first round pick. Bills tight end Dawson Knox, he has a broken hand. He's not going to miss too much time. He did have surgery on the bone that he broke, so shouldn't miss too much time anyways. The Ravens, they have lost left tackle Ronnie Stanley for the season. He had ankle surgery, and he is now the 17th Raven to go on IR.
That just makes it even more amazing what the Ravens have been able to do so far. They've lost so many players, yet they're one of the best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, they kicked Alejandro Villanueva back over to left tackle, and it seems to be working. Giants, they placed offensive tackle Andrew Thomas on IR. He has a left ankle and a right foot injuries. He's going to miss at least the next 3 games. Colts, safety Julian Blackman, he tore his Achilles. He is done for the year. And some injury updates for this weekend. The Bucks guys that they won't have are tight end Rob Gronkowski. He has his ribs injury still. Wide receiver Antonio Brown is out with an ankle. Linebacker Levante David also has an ankle injury. And corner Richard Sherman is out with a hamstring injury. The Giants, they are going to be without running back Saquon Barkley, dealing with his ankle injury. Wide receiver Kenny Galladay, who has a knee injury, and wide receiver Kadarius Toney, who has an ankle injury. Questionable for the Giants, tight end Evan Ingram with a calf, wide receiver John Ross, wide receiver Sterling Shepard, and wide receiver Darius Slayton, all dealing with hamstring injuries. They got a hamstring problem in New York. Niners, their quarterback situation, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to start on Sunday Night Football at home against the Colts. Quarterback Trey Lance dealing with an ankle injury. He is out, but it wouldn't have mattered had Trey Lance been good to go or not. The plan was always to start Jimmy G when he was healthy. I was kind of shocked by this. Washington football team, they cut kicker Dustin Hopkins this week, elevating kicker Chris Blewett up to the active roster rookie. I believe he's a rookie out of Memphis. I could be wrong on the Memphis thing too, but I'm pretty sure he's from Memphis. Maybe not. I don't know.
I think that might have been the most shocking news of the week for me, because I didn't think that Hopkins was all that bad of a kicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's out, and I'm sure it won't take him too long to get latched onto another team.
Yeah. Just trying to see if I was right on the whole Memphis thing. I was not. Pitt. Oh, that's right. That's right. Pitt. And he's not a rookie. But he went undrafted in 2017 and hasn't played ever. With the Bears practice squad in 2019 and now with Washington. So
That's a very interesting choice of kickers for them.
right. There's a bunch of other ones out there. So I mentioned Sam Ellinger getting activated off of IR for the Colts. That necessitated waiving quarterback Jacob Eason, who is now a Seattle Seahawk, claimed off waivers by the Seahawks. So intriguing situation. Do they?
I think they do for now because Geno had a pretty good game except for the game-losing fumble against the Steelers. Especially this week, even though it is a long week or whatever, he's going to start this weekend. On Monday night against the Saints. But depending on how he does it Monday night, they might make the switch. But I'm still kind of surprised about the whole situation because wasn't Eason only a draft pick last year? Like in 2019?
Yes, 2020 fourth rounder.
So
Sam Ellinger, 2021 sixth.
Yeah. I think that kind of spelled the end for him to begin with when they drafted Ellinger. But still, I thought that they were high on Eason and they were going to develop him. But, clearly they didn't. And they couldn't even find a trade partner for him. So they ended up cutting him, and now he's in Seattle. But
they didn't cut him. They waived him.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not because you're not a free agent until you clear waivers, which he didn't. The Seahawks claimed him. But yeah, just another Georgia quarterback sucking at the NFL level, right, Mark? Even though he got drafted as a Washington quarterback. I don't know where Mark is at.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hold on.
Matthew Stafford's really the only Georgia quarterback I know that has actually been a successful NFL quarterback.
I forgot that he went to Georgia.
Best Georgia quarterback we've had in the league.
He still hasn't won the Super Bowl yet. He could this year though.
He won't this year. He'll get into the playoffs at least. The Chargers, they signed wide receiver Andre Roberts, released by the Texans. Really great signing there. Get upgraded special teams in the return game. Packers, they had a nice signing this week as well, signing defensive end Whitney Merciless, also released by the Texans. Definitely needed pass rush help in Green Bay. And then the Panthers, they signed running back Amir Abdullah, also just like Roberts, going to help them on special teams. And I believe he will come in as the third. I think he will supplant Rodney Smith and Royce Freeman as the third running back and be the third down guy right now.
I think he's definitely the best pass catcher that they have on that roster. So,
yeah, until CMC comes back.
Oh yeah.
That's it. That's all the NFL news I got. I didn't see anything else on the Twitter feed, so we're gonna move on here to our college picks.
Let's do it.
Things. And I have been terrible last week, 2 weeks in college and NFL. So Mark and Chris both tied 18-7. Mark still holds a 1-game lead over Chris. I was, like I said, terrible once again. I am now 6 back of Mark, 5 back of Chris. So great times.
I can't seem to break that tie with Mark. He keeps matching me. I don't like it, Mark.
Well, the games that we differed on last week, Mark sniped us with picking Utah over Arizona State. Chris you got Oklahoma State Lone Wolf correct. And but you lost that Lone Wolf on the Wyoming Lone Wolf. Got shut out.
Yeah, that was a dumb choice on my part.
And then I Lone Wolfed. I lost both. I Lone Wolfed BYU against Baylor and Louisiana Tech against UTEP. So that's pretty much.
You got a lone wolf to get back in the playoff.
Which he did this week. He did. We'll see. So we have a lot of games this week. I know. I put a bunch of games on here this week. That's because it's week 8 in college football. I decided 2 losses now. There's enough teams. There is enough that there's a smallish number of 2-loss teams out there that we can pick 2-loss team games as well. Not the case on the 2 Friday games that we have on the slate. Actually, one does have 2 losses. But this game I put on because I think this is going to be a tremendous game. American Conference Showdown, Memphis at UCF in the bounce house in Orlando. And I was kind of surprised that we were all on Memphis. It has gone down by 0.5 point. It's 1.5 for the Tigers now. I just love their offense. Seth Hennigan, Calvin Austin, the receiver, and then Brandon Thomas at running back. It's going to be offensive firework. So
I thought maybe myself picking Memphis. You guys were different. Sometimes I'll roll with one of you guys. So I'm pretty surprised on all of us on Memphis. And saying that, I think UCF wins now because every time all of us pick the same team without saying what's the other one picking, we always lose.
pretty much, yeah.
But I love Memphis offense versus UCF. Maybe they have a home field advantage for UCF. I don't know. But Memphis can move the ball.
Oh, they have a home field advantage. It's not called the bounce house for nothing. And especially at 7 p.m. in Orlando. I don't know if it's their fall break there. It's our undergrad fall break here. We don't know what a fall break is in law school. So if it's their fall break, that means their students have been getting drunk since last night. They're going into the stadium 2 days in on drinking. So over under is 64. I like the over. Like I said, I expect offensive fireworks, both teams to score in the 30s.
Oh yeah.
7 p.m. ESPN2 tonight. The other game on the tap for tonight that we are picking, there's actually 4 games tonight, but we're only going to pick 2. Colorado State at Utah State. Massive Mountain West showdown. Mark is on the Aggies by himself.
He's going to get us on Utah again.
No, I actually think Colorado State will win this. I looked up the lines, predictions. No one picked Utah State. And I know Rusty gets tired of the same old boring thing. So I want to be the antagonist. And I picked Utah State. I don't believe that they'll win this game.
My reason, Colorado State, you look at the opponents that each has played. Colorado State's two of their 3 losses, a 3-point loss to Vanderbilt, who we know sucks, but it's still an SEC team, and a 10-point loss to Iowa, in Iowa. And like a lot of people have been saying, Colorado State is on the come up. They have beaten San Jose State 32-14 and New Mexico 36-7 the last 2 games. They also have a 22-6 win over Toledo, who's not doing that well this year. But Ty Centeio and Trey McBride, who has been flying under the radar as one of the best tight ends in the country, I like them over Logan Bonner and the Aggies. So.
I honestly went with it just because I wanted to be different.
And you're going to win just because of that.
Over under is 59. I like the under. Like I said, Colorado State's defense, I think, is very good. They average giving up only 19 points per game. So that's why. 9:30 CBS Sportsnet. Let's go to tomorrow. I'm not a big fan of this week's slate of games in terms of competition.
No.
This is a huge point differential, y'all.
But next week's games, I'm going to be over the moon for next week. Number 2, Cincinnati, heading to Annapolis to play Navy. 28 points for the Bearcats. They'll cover. Let's move on.
Well, I just wanted to say, I know I normally do the military thing, but I couldn't do it in this game.
Chris didn't want to take the L.
I just couldn't do it in this one. I picked
Why
all the
would
other
you?
military. I picked all the other military games or teams in our slate, but this one, there's absolutely no chance that Navy wins this game.
Chris isn't picking Navy in the rest of the year. Over under is 49, and I like the over, obviously. I think Cincinnati can score 49 by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have another defensive touchdown this week. I don't know if it's going to be Kobe Bryant because he's a corner and Navy doesn't throw the ball because they're a triple option, but maybe he takes a fumble back to the house. I don't know. I'm a big fan. I really like Kobe Bryant in that secondary for the Bearcats.
Mm-hmm.
12 p.m. ESPN 2. See, they don't even get on regular ESPN because they know. Number 3, Oklahoma heading to Kansas to play the Jayhawks. Yeah, another stinker, 38.5 for the Sooners. And I wouldn't be shocked if they cover because Caleb Williams looked phenomenal against TCU last week.
They're a different team with him, and you just got to ride the wave. How different is he a difference maker to get them to the? As long as they stay undefeated, they have a shot at the Final Four.
The difference in Caleb Williams versus Spencer Rattler, his running ability. Spencer Rattler, I feel like, is regarded as a dual threat, but he's not the kind of running threat that Caleb Williams is.
I also think that, in my opinion, from the outside looking in, it looks like they're rallying behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's something, Spencer said about them, or you're not doing a good enough job, but they look like they want him under center in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Like the players, not the coaches.
And it's not just the players. It's the entire school.
Yeah. I told you my family lives in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. They're Mizzou fans, but have adopted Sooners. Some of the people that they live with that I've befriended in their neighborhood that know that I'm at Georgia, they've texted me and say, Caleb is the answer. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Over under 67. Can Kansas score enough? Or can they score at all against Alex Grinch's defense?
I don't think so.
To get it even close. Because I don't think Oklahoma's scoring 67. I don't know if they even score over 50. They probably will. They'll probably get to, 8. If they score 8 touchdowns, that's 56. So
58-30.
To 3?
58-30.
Okay. I wanted to clarify. It sounded like 30 a little bit.
It did sound like 30. I was like, wait a minute.
12 p.m. ESPN. So that one's not much better. ESPN 2. All right, Big Ten, Northwestern at number 6, Michigan. Wolverines getting 23.5. Now, I will say this, take the points with Northwestern. Because Pat Fitzgerald will be able to get into Harbaugh's mind a little bit. And once again, Michigan, while they're undefeated, their quarterback is not, I don't believe in Cade McNamara. So
Is this the upset then?
No, I don't think Northwestern has enough in terms of their quarterback situation. They have enough to run the ball, but that's what both teams do. And I don't think I think Michigan's defense can hold Northwestern's offense down enough that Michigan can win. But I'm just saying, I don't think they blow them out. I think Northwestern can handle themselves. And Northwestern's defense is a little bit of a shell of itself from what they did last year, but I still think they're good enough. They can hold it to within the spread. So. Over under is 51. And I like the under. Both really good defenses. 12 p.m. on Fox, big noon kickoff. Illinois, the Illini head to Happy Valley, face number 7 Penn State. And the Lions getting 23.5. Actually, now the same spread as Michigan. And we'll have to see. We will have to see. I would assume, I mean, I haven't actually looked it up, but I would assume because they're getting 23.5, I don't think that's necessarily just because it's Penn State. I think that means that Clifford's playing. But
I still don't like the 23.5 though.
It says they split quarterback, or they split reps with all three of their top 3 quarterbacks on Wednesday. So, like I said, I don't think they necessarily need to play Clifford though to win this game. I think Taquan Roberson can win it himself, and with the defense that they have, they can get the running game going with Noah Kane and Devon Lee and the rest of their backs. I think they should be able to win without Sean Clifford because they'll need him next week. Next week's the big one. The start of the gauntlet that is Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State. So not in a row, but Ohio State is next week. So Clifford has to be as close to 100% as he can going into that game. I don't think that they need him to win this game. So over under is 46. And I'm going under.
Yeah.
Penn State's defense too good.
And I think that hinges on who plays quarterback, like you said. They don't need Clifford to win.
Yeah. 12 p.m. ABC, and I will be watching this one at Buffalo Wild Wings. At least a portion of it, anyways.
Is that where all the law students, I guess,
No.
study?
I will be with fellow law students. All right, number 16, Wake Forest at Army, and Chris is taking the L. Mark, we're getting a win. High five.
No.
Come on, Mark. Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to go with the military school, but Wake Forest is I went at the quarterback position.
Yes.
If Chris wins this, it's because the defenses are pretty stout both ways. And maybe I should, as a military member, side with them, but I'm Navy, not Army. And so I went Wake Forest, and I like their quarterback better.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like we've said, I do the military thing, but obviously that's not always true. See the Navy game that we just went over. But for this game, I actually do believe in Army. I mean, you already touched on it, Mark. Their defenses are similar. And I think when it comes down to it, I like the Army's run game in this one. I think that they can control the game with their run game. They can control the clock and all that, and their defense can take care of Wake Forest offense. And they're going to win this one in a low-scoring game.
It's not.
27-24. One of these teams are going to win.
Army can't score that much. Look at their last two games. They put up stinkers on offense. 16 against Ball State and 14 against Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin's defense pretty solid. But, again, they can't score. Not like Wake Forest can. Wake Forest averaging 38 points per game. They are putting up points and points and points. Sam Hartman, Jakari Robinson.
I still think it's a field goal game either way. Whether Army wins or Wake Forest, I still think it's a field goal.
I don't think it's going to be.
And I didn't even look at the point. I didn't even look at the point differential. Look at it. It's right there.
Wake Forest giving up 21 points per game. Army's giving up 20. So I don't believe in Army's offense enough anymore. So over under is 53. And I mean, Mark likes under. So I like the over though. I think Wake Forest is going to put up their normal amount of points. Army's going to score about 14. Like they have been the last 2 weeks.
21.
12 p.m. CBS Sportsnet. Big 12, Kansas State.
Oh, I think Chris might win this game.
Hey, I only went with them because they are the home team. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, because it is a pick'em game.
The only reason I went was to try to tack on a game on people. Does that mean? I think this is obviously it's a pick'em, so it's.
You roll with me though.
I knew who you were going to pick. That's the thing. I knew you were going with the purple.
I went with Deuce Vaughn and Skylar Thompson. That's who I went with. It's going to be very even. That's why it's a pick'em game, and it should be a pretty good game, even besides the point that Texas Tech is 5-2.
Throw out the records if you talk about these two teams, right? You even in the past. Let's not spend 10 minutes. However, you go back to Snyder and then the new coach. We know that they want to be run heavy and they want to be smash mouth. You go to Texas Tech, they throw it across the field from Mahomes to whoever it has always been. I think they have a home field advantage. However, I look at this after Saturday and go, Kansas State's 3-4, Texas Tech is 6-2.
Nope. Deuce Vaughn.
Or I said that 4-3. Sorry, I said that. I actually said that. Though that is not even my pick. Sorry, it's 3-4, or 4-3 and 5-3.
Yes. Over under is 61, and I think for Kansas State to win, it has to go under. Probably.
That's why I'm picking the over.
It goes back to their first win that no one thought. I just believe they're going to get back to that football.
I mean, their defense is really good, 24 points per game, but they're only scoring about 27. So
I said the record's about 3 times wrong. Whatever.
12 p.m. FS1. Wow.
Whoa!
We got Maction.
Whoa! No! Whoa! Wisconsin, Purdue.
No. That one's after.
Okay.
Northern Illinois at Central Michigan, and I'm on the Huskies. I did this before. I did it when they played Wyoming because it's Rocky. They have Rocky.
That's the only reason I bet against you, and I would love for you to win this game. And I actually think Northern Illinois is a better team, but I said he let me down, so I'm not picking him. That really is what it comes down to. I'm not lying. He made me so mad. I said I'm not picking Northern Illinois.
I contemplated it too. I almost went with them too, but I couldn't go against Central Michigan.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if it's going to be as close as I think it will. 4-3, 5-2 teams. The issue that I have with Northern Illinois, though, is that they're giving up more points than they let in, even at 5-2. They're giving up 30, and they only score 28 points per game. So how are they 5-2? Don't ask me. Probably because they beat Maine 41-14, and probably they got skewed because they lost to Michigan 63-10. So. Same thing with Central Michigan's numbers, though. They lost LSU 49-21. So
I'm a big believer in what we talked about, just big time quarterbacks, even coming from Power Fives and dropping down. But the one time that I rolled with him, he disappointed me. And so I said, I'm rolling with the home team.
okay. They have a conference to go in. So Rocky Lombardi is going to get done. Over under is 57, and let's go just under. Like I said, NIU scoring 28, Central Michigan's 27 points per game, so very close. Take the points with the Huskies at the very least if you want. 12 p.m. ESPNU. See, Mark, now it's Wisconsin at number 25, Purdue. And we are all on the Boilermakers.
Wow.
I don't know how Wisconsin is reasonably favored.
I did not see this coming. I thought one of us would have Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
How? I mean, what has Wisconsin done this year? Absolutely nothing. Graham Mertz is terrible. Their defense is the only reason they are 3-3. The absolute only reason they are 3-3. And that they've gotten some easy opponents and are able to run the ball in certain games. But Purdue is on a high. Coming off the monumental win at Iowa last week, their defense, which I didn't know this until I watched that Iowa game, it lights out. They're giving up 14 points per game right now.
Well, we talked about it last night before the Broncos-Browns game, and I admitted I didn't understand how Purdue was playing lights out. And they've knocked off some big teams in the last 2 years that no one would talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a game that I get scared of that Wisconsin figures it out. We know their identity has always been running the ball and low scoring, but they haven't been able to do that this year. And they're so familiar with each other. I thought one person would pick Wisconsin. Well, I think Purdue wins this game, but just because we all picked it, this is one of those games we're all going to look at each other and go, dang it, dang it, dang it.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's at home. It's also in West Lafayette. So I like that aspect as well. And if Aiden O'Connell can continue to play the way he did last week, I think they should be in a good position. Only issue is Purdue's only scoring 23 points per game right now. Wisconsin's not good either. They're only scoring 19 points per game. They give up 19 points per game, hence their 3 record.
If Purdue keeps it below 30, which Wisconsin doesn't score a lot. However, if it goes 27 or 30 points, I think that's when Wisconsin has a point. Has a chance.
I don't think so. I don't think Wisconsin can score enough with Graham Mertz at quarterback position because they got blown out twice this year by Michigan. And I just had it up here.
I still think Michigan's way better.
Notre Dame and Michigan, they got.
Yeah, but I think those are the two teams that would be drastically better than Purdue.
Yeah, I agree with Mark.
Well, Purdue didn't get blown out by Notre Dame, did they? They only lost by 14.
I know.
Blemish on Purdue is that they lost to Minnesota. That's
what I would tell anybody that's listening to any podcast is anytime that I look back at previous, and that's what people do, right? They base it off on previous games. this would be the one that you go, okay, Notre Dame's way better than Purdue and Michigan's way better than Purdue. And maybe the game schemes were different. And I hope Purdue wins this because we all picked it. But if they don't, then Purdue never deserved to be number 25. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I think Purdue's going to do exactly what Notre Dame did to Wisconsin. Pick off Graham Mertz, take it to the house. Not necessarily take it to the house, but they picked off Spencer Petras 4 times last week, and they're going to get Graham Mertz at least twice this week.
And I never was a fan of Petras. I thought Iowa was a championship team without a good quarterback.
Over-under is low, 41. Like I said, 14 points against for Purdue, 19 points against for Wisconsin. But I think it goes over. Purdue's going to score enough.
I don't know.
Hey, man, I picked the over in the Penn State with Iowa game, so they don't get on me on these low unders.
Before we move on, Purdue's head coach, I do forget his name, is a phenomenal coach and someone I'm not saying he needs to leave because it's still a Power 5 conference. But if I'm Vanderbilt, if I'm Mississippi State, if they want to get rid of Mike, I don't.
Well, we have 2 openings, Washington State and LSU. So,
if I'm LSU, I would go get him. I would. I mean, that's a different conversation. So let's move on.
3 p.m. Big Ten Network.
I think he's a phenomenal coach.
Number 8, Oklahoma State at Ames to face Iowa State. Marcus Lone Wolf and the Cyclones.
Holy crap!
I knew
Iowa State is favored?
I knew someone would take them.
I didn't even know Iowa State was favored.
Well, you know what? ESPN's FPI is giving Iowa State a 78% chance to win this game.
Why? Yeah. I thought I was taking the underdog. That's the only reason I took them. I don't look at the – okay, here's something that I need to tell our fans, and we're going to grow the fan base. I don't look at injuries the way that other people might look at injuries. I don't look at against the spread. I really thought I was taking an underdog, and I just wanted to pick someone different. I didn't realize they're favored. Now I don't like this. I wish I could change it. I thought I was taking an underdog. They're 4-2, 6-0.
Well, and what's crazy is that Oklahoma State's won 4 in a row in Ames.
Well, the streak ends this weekend.
Iowa State has been playing a lot better football of recent, but I'm going with your cousin, Mark. Jalen Warren is rolling, and Spencer Sanders. I like that offense. They've had some issues. The defense has held up enough, and Iowa State's defense is very good. 16 points against per game. Very, very good defense. Brace Hall coming off a career, his season high at 197 against Kansas State last week. But I'm on the one thing
that would work in my favor is I do believe that Sanders throws an interception or fumbles at least one time. And what is the score of the game at that point? And Iowa State wins. If Sanders has 0 turnovers, this is going to look like the stupidest pick ever. And I thought that Oklahoma State was favored by 7. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't always look up all this. Anyways, and I just thought I was picking an underdog, and I'm the only one that's picking the team with more losses at home, and it looks like a bad pick. And so, mark my words, there's one loss for me.
No, I thought that I was going to be the one that was lone wolf in this one because I know Rusty likes Iowa State, so I thought he was going to go with Iowa State.
They've been so terrible.
Not with how Oklahoma State's been playing. They just beat Texas last week, so
I know, and we all picked Texas. Texas.
Chris Lone Wolf the Cowboys last week. But
well,
yep. I've been on Oklahoma State all season, and I'm sticking with them in this.
Over under 40. Go
Plus,
ahead.
I was just saying that their coach just got that new contract, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's breathing room, and that's what scares me. I think they play better after that.
Over under is 47. It's tough. It'll be very close because of how good both defenses are. Who can run the ball better? That's who wins.
Don't talk to me tomorrow.
3:30 on Fox. Number 10, Oregon at UCLA.
Oh yeah, none of you guys wanted to took UCLA. Screw you.
Another ranked team on the road that is the underdog. This one's at the Rose Bowl. UCLA is not a good 5-2 team. I feel like we already know. We've talked about DTR and how we feel about DTR, but
How are they
not playing that well either? So
favored?
Because Oregon barely beat Cal on a Friday night last week.
Yeah, but that's conference, and we still know who the best.
But that was in Eugene.
We still know the best defensive player in all of college football.
This is true, and I hope he wrecks DTR all day.
And I don't like either one of these quarterbacks. I
think the difference is that Anthony Brown. I don't know. Both are have the capability to run a lot. And I think it sets up kind of like Oklahoma State, Iowa State. It's whoever runs the ball best, because that's how Oregon beat Cal. Is they came back against Cal by running the ball with Travis Dye and Anthony Brown. And we already know what UCLA can do with Britton Brown and Zach Charbonnet.
All right.
So
nothing about who wins this game. Metaphorically, if Oregon loses this game, there's no way the Pac-12 is even in the picture.
There's already no way the Pac-12's in. Not with Cincinnati there.
I agree, and I want Cincinnati, but what if Oregon has a one-loss? What if they are one loss? No?
There's already too many. There's Georgia and Alabama, and there's 4 Big Ten teams up there.
Well, Georgia and Alabama are not going to go unscathed because they'll either meet each other.
Yes, but I'm saying there's 4 Big Ten teams up there.
And we talked about that, but that's just
They all got to play each other, though.
That makes our show better, though, talking about that, in my opinion.
That's the only thing. Penn State, Michigan State all got to play each other in the last 5-6 weeks of the year.
I hope Cincinnati is there, FYI, for all of
They don't play anyone the rest of the season until the conference championship game when they play SMU, hopefully. Over under is 61, and I'm going under.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think if it goes over, then UCLA wins. Does that make sense? It has to stay under.
Like I said, a lot of running. I think both teams are running a lot in this game, just to save their quarterbacks from making mistakes. 3:30 ABC.
Chip Kelly, LSU. Oh, sorry. There's
LSU at number 12, Ole Miss, Mac Norvell, and the Rebels favored by 9 against a semi-fired Ed Orgeron. I guess that's what you can call him at this point. Semi-fired. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch LSU the rest of the year if they play for Edo or not. Yep. He's already fired.
I would say yes. The one thing that Coach O always dignified or represented was the state. And you're never going to take away that championship. And that's a lot more than any coach ever did, anywhere they went. Chip Kelly revolutionized the way that you call offense, but he doesn't have a national championship. Coach O does. But there were so many mitigating circumstances that he couldn't be there. But they're not a very good team right now. They're not a very good team. And maybe Max Johnson has a great game, but Lane Kiffin's going to score 58 to their
38, right? That's what's going to happen this weekend.
Yeah, I think Matt Corral will continue his Heisman chase in this one against LSU, who just gave up 42 to Florida last weekend. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
He's not going to get hit with golf balls.
It's gonna be a fun time.
Or mustard.
And I forgot to mention this earlier. We did have our first game kick off tonight. It's not one of the ones that we were picking, but Mid Tennessee and UConn at UConn.
The worst.
They are playing right now over on CBS Sportsnet. 0-0, 7 minutes to go in the first quarter.
It might be a 14 game. Yeah.
And the other game that we didn't pick tonight, Washington at Arizona. Washington 2-4, Arizona 0-6. That one, Washington 17.5-point favorites, 10:30 ESPN2.
I don't think Washington ever thought they would be in the basement.
Did Arizona think they were going to be 0-6?
Well, yeah, they fired Kevin Summerlin. That's a dumpster fire. There.
I know. People said they might go winless this year. So
I don't think they're going to win.
Schedule.
I think you should put that on our schedule to see if we agree they win one game.
This one over under ridiculous 77.
No. I actually. Call me crazy.
But you already said 58-38, so you're already on the over.
Yeah. I like it too. I like the over on this one.
I think Ole Miss defense is better than people think, and they'll shut LSU down more than Florida did. So in the 20s, LSU is only scoring 24. But it would still go over if they score. It would still go over if they score 50. So
48-24. What is that?
72.
No. Yeah. Oh, that's close.
Yeah.
Mark my words. 48-27.
SEC on CBS 3:30.
Wait, wouldn't that still be under?
Doesn't matter.
I'm just calling the game. I'm just
ACC,
calling the game.
ACC, and who would have ever thought we would have a Clemson game where they are unranked, they are the underdogs, and we are all picking against Clemson.
And now they will win. Gosh dang it. I thought someone was going to be a Clemson pick.
No, I've been against Clemson all season long.
Y'all need to start telling me who your picks are so I go different.
That's the fun part, Mark.
I love you guys.
Two things, and then I'm done with this game. First off,
quarterback play.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickens is so good.
Kenny Pickett is squarely in the Heisman race. I don't care what anyone says. He only has one interception all season, which is fantastic. And the other thing is, it's at Heinz Field. Pitt has a great atmosphere at Heinz Field. So
what I think is funny that you say that is Sam Howell, who I picked as the Heisman and is derailed. And I don't necessarily think it's him, but that's a different discussion. He said if no one is looking at Kenny Pickett's, you're wrong. And another quarterback to say that in your conference, it to me boosts well for you. And that's why I picked Pitt. We've seen what Clemson has done all year long, and I don't think it's even a Dabo issue when people say, "Oh, he's not a good coach because he hasn't recruited." It's not that. Under center, everything dictates who's under center, and I went with Pitt's quarterback because I love him. I think he actually has the highest ceiling of. That's a different discussion, but the quarterbacks that can be picked in the NFL.
Yeah. And like I said all along, every time we've had a pick game, Pat Narduzzi knows how to coach defense. So
Kevin Slovis and Kenny Pitts are phenomenal quarterbacks for the next level.
Over-under is 48, and I am going with the over. I do think Pitt scores a lot of points. They can. Have the
That's the
ability.
only thing that scares me.
3:30 ESPN. At least they gave you a good 3:30 game, not like the 12 o'clock games on ESPN. All right. Now going to be former Conference USA members. Rice at UAB. We are all on the Blazers. Shouldn't be a close game, but
Nope.
like I said, it was a 2-loss team. That's why we are picking it. And Blazers get it done and cover.
Yeah, not much to say about this. Rice is terrible, and UAB is pretty good.
Over-under is 45. Interesting. Over-under.
I don't think so. I don't think Rice scored.
All right. Let's see. Where are we at here? 3:30 ESPN Plus. Maryland at Minnesota. I think it's going to be a great game.
Wow.
This was the hardest pick for me this week.
I know. I just could not pick the Fighting Dave Muis anymore. The loss of Dante Demas has derailed their season, and I believe PJ Fleck has Minnesota playing good football at this point of the year.
I was fully
Over.
expecting to lone wolf this one because I know how much you guys both like Maryland, but I guess you guys are jumping off now.
No, well, the thing that bothers me is the turnovers. I can like you all season long. I can like you because you're pretty blonde or Latino, my favorite women. But if you cheat on me, that's not a good thing. And turnovers are the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I think PJ Fleck's got him up and running at this point in the year and for Minnesota. Over-under is 55. I like the under. Again, I don't think Maryland is in the right mind on offense right now to score a lot of points. So 3:30 ESPN 2. 3:30, nice slot.
PJ Fleck will be up for the LSU job too, FYI.
Western Michigan at Toledo. Maction once again, and we are all on the Broncos, right? They're the Broncos.
I don't like the point differential.
I do. Why not? The Toledo has been a bad football team this year, man. They are not the Toledo that I'm used to watching anyways. They're scoring 27 a game, which is decent. And defense is really good, 18 points per game. But, they're coming off back-to-back close losses to NIU and Central Michigan. They got rolled 22-6 against Colorado State. One thing that's interesting, though, they beat Ball State, who beat Army.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting to say the least. But, dude, Western Michigan's killing everyone pretty much. But they got destroyed by Ball State, 45-20. Everyone else, though, Western has just killed. And they even beat Pitt. They are Pitt's one loss. So I'm going with the offense and Caleb Ellaby. And Sky Moore. Not so sold on quarterback situation for Toledo, even though it's in Ohio.
Which Michigan and Ohio aren't strangers to each other.
But it is Western Michigan. They got to go a little farther. From what's their weird name again? Kalamazoo, right?
Yeah.
Over-under is 55, and I'm going just over. If we score 8 touchdowns in this game, it gets it to 56, so why not? Western Michigan, like I said, their offense is very good. against a very good defense in Toledo. We'll see who breaks. But 3:30 CBS Sportsnet. BYU 4.5 points at Washington State. It's a Cougar showdown. That could be seen as multiple things in the world, but I am going with the blue and white Cougars over the red and white Cougars. BYU is coming off 2 against Boise State, and who they faced last week? I'm blanking.
They lost. Who they play though?
Baylor. That's right. Yes. Boise State and Baylor. What's interesting is that Nick Rolovich got fired by Washington State. I don't know if he coached last week or not, if he got fired before that game. I can't recall when we had that, whether we had that news on Friday or on Monday. But if we had it on Monday, then this would be the first game after Rolovich is fired, which is also another factor why I think BYU is going to win.
Yeah, obviously there's all that coaching turmoil for Washington, but I just think BYU overall is just a better team, and I fully expect them to bounce back from that loss against Baylor last week.
I agree. I think BYU is a better team. The only thing that we all talk about tomorrow and go, what happened or tonight, is sometimes teams rally behind adversity, and that to me is the only thing that makes them win.
Yeah.
Who is sliding in as the coach though?
I don't know. No. Because they also lost four assistants, like I said. So over under is 57. I am going with the over. I believe Washington State has enough on offense with Jake Delora at quarterback. And we already know BYU with Jaron Hall, Tyler Algier, Puka Nasu. I can keep naming them. But, yeah.
You better stop it.
3:30 FS1. Again, 3:30 games are fantastic this week. New Mexico, that's Wyoming. No one was on the Lobo train. Dang. But Wyoming coming off 17-0 shutout loss to Fresno State last week. They're gonna take out their frustration. Seth Chambers and the like, or no, not Seth. Sean Chambers, I believe it is, quarterback for the Cowboys. New Mexico's playing a lot better. I will say that, and I don't like 20 for Wyoming.
No.
Two things. I don't like 20. And Wyoming has one of the best logos because it's actually their mascot riding their mascot. We see all this clip art. It's a different discussion, but it's actually a cowboy in his element.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to ride the Lobos to a win.
This game scares me, though. Obviously, you both have mentioned the 20-point spread, which I agree. I don't think it – I think that New Mexico can cover that. But just based on their performance last week, they got shut out, and their confidence is probably a little low. So I don't know. I think New Mexico can take advantage of that. But, again, I still think Wyoming wins this one.
Over-under is low, 41, and this is the case where I am picking the under 41.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
3:30. No network. Got to stream it somewhere. Liberty at North Texas. Liberty coming off the shocker of the week last week, losing at UL Monroe. Back on the road this weekend against the Green Machine that is North Texas.
1-5.
Yeah, Liberty should bounce back. Malik Willis should have a lot better game than he had last week. So go Flames.
Yeah, they had their one bad game of the season. Now they bounce back. I think Liberty covers the spread.
Possibly. Over under is 61.
Ooh.
I like the over.
Really?
Yes.
Liberty hasn't been scoring all that much.
Doesn't matter. The way that North Texas runs their offense, I think they can score enough.
I don't know enough about North Texas, so I'll back you on that one.
Yeah, Austin Allen at quarterback, junior quarterback there. 4 p.m. ESPN Plus. I think this is going to be a great game. Boston College at Louisville. Chris is back on his BS, or I should say his BC.
Look, before he says anything, I have one comment. And it's I've picked BC to win in games, and they've lost twice. Their 2 losses right here have been when I picked them, and that's the only reason I picked Louisville. And so you guys take it away. I just couldn't do it. Maybe they win this game, but I'm so pissed at Boston College trying to beat State, and I just can't do it.
I only have 2 words for this game and why I picked Louisville. You probably know what they are, Mark. Malik Cunningham.
That's offensive numbers. I'm just so mad at BC that they let me down because they are a better team with the new coaching staff and this and that, but they've let me down.
Malik Cunningham is a better quarterback, and that is why they win at home.
Well, yeah. I don't really know why I picked BC for this one. I think I kind of just picked him because I had a feeling that this was another chance for a lone wolf, and
Dude.
Obviously that's the case here.
Well, they're even, and if you win this game, I'll punch you in your face. I love you.
But I also believe that I've gotten every single Boston College game right so far that we've had on the show this season.
I know, and that's what's driving me crazy. Oh, I'm going to bed. Screw you guys.
I picked NC State against them last week, and I picked them to win in the other game. So I picked them to win this game. Again, I hate picking Boston teams because I hate all Boston sports, but I'm rooting for them again this week. And let's go Boston College.
Over-under is 57, and I think it is just under. We keep mentioning that 56 8-touchdown mark. I think I don't know if it gets there necessarily, but I think
54 points altogether. Mark my word.
I think low 50s, yeah.
I'm throwing some things out to you guys that all of our viewers just need to go.
4 p.m. ACC Network. Here we go. American battle. East Carolina at Houston. The Cougs getting 13.5 against the Pirates.
Not one ECU? Not one?
Nope.
I think ECU is playing well right now, though, with Holton Ahlers at quarterback. But I'm going with Clayton Tune. He's playing even better. The overall offense for Houston has been a lot better. Now, I haven't watched either of these teams very much this year.
That was piggybacking off what you're saying. I was really torn. Like, I haven't watched either of these teams. I went with Houston because I think at skill positions or someone gets injured, I think they have more talent at every position. But I'll go back to I've coached against Ahlers, and he was really good in basketball. He was really good in baseball, and he's just a great competitive athlete. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game, but I couldn't pick one person from Greenville, South Carolina, because I think Houston has better players left and right.
Yeah, they're on a 5-game win streak. They lost to Texas Tech week 1, haven't won their last 5. And they've only put up less than 40 points one game.
And Texas Tech is a good team right now.
It is scary because Houston really hasn't played anyone other than Tech. Their 5 wins have not. I mean, they've rightfully blown people out, but Not against very good teams. Anyways, over under 58, and I like the over. Like I said, Clayton Tune on offense for Houston. ECU has Holton Ahlers at quarterback. Let's go. Points. 4 p.m. ESPNU. Tennessee at Alabama. Number 4 Alabama. Roll Tide. They're gonna win easily.
Move on.
Let's go.
I mean, we said that when they played against Texas A&M, but yeah.
I didn't see that.
I mean, we still all picked them though.
Every time.
We would have organizational issues if Bama loses at home to Tennessee. Let's move on.
Over under is 67. And I like the over. 7 p.m. ESPN.
Heupel's done great. I actually think he can score. He just can't score enough.
Maybe under, actually. Mountain West. This is a massive Mountain West battle here. Number 22, San Diego.
We're all going Air Force.
Yeah, because they are going to fly over the Aztecs. You know, they're the Falcons. Aztecs are on the ground. You know, they can't reach the Falcons. So it makes sense biologically as well, as it does in football. I'm rolling with a guy, Brad Roberts. Brad Roberts is my favorite Air Force player because he is a monster, and they classify him as a running back on the roster. He's not. He's a fullback. And he ran all over Boise State last week. Him and Hazik Daniels on offense are really why I like them over San Diego State. And I'm not sold on the quarterbacks that the Aztecs have.
I'm actually really surprised that you didn't go with San Diego State. I mean, I know you just mentioned why you went with Air Force because of all that you just said, but you are very far behind both Mark and I. So this would have been a good one for you to take a chance on, I think.
Nope. Sticking with my guys. I'd rather get it right and lose the pick standings than get it wrong and lose worse.
That is.
They are they're the same records. I was siding with Rusty because I think Air Force controls the game more than San Diego State. If San Diego State wins this ball game, it has to be on a big play. Does that make sense? And Air Force hasn't allowed big plays this season.
Two of the best rushing offenses in college football.
Yep.
That you probably wouldn't know that San Diego State is one of the best rush offenses in college football.
I looked a little combobulated and confused. Congress just got a few. This is live. Let's move on. But they got a few of the emails. It's not looking good for Washington football team. That has nothing to do with John Gruden, but the Washington football team looks like they're
San Diego State rushes 215 yards per game. Air Force runs for 336 per game. Over under is 39. Very, very low. 39.
Ooh.
And we're going under.
Under? Nah.
Hell
under?
yeah. Look at Air Force's defense.
I know, but
they're giving up 16 points per game. San Diego State,
You're right. If it goes to 40, they lose then.
Both teams are giving up 16 points per game.
Yeah.
7 p.m. CBS Sportsnet.
If Daniel Snyder doesn't have to sell the former Redskins, there's a double standard.
Look at this, number 24 UTSA. The Roadrunners are ranked at Louisiana Tech. And we are on the Roadrunners. Frank Harris, McCormick. Go run the ball, Sincere.
Yeah.
That excited me so much. I looked at this and said, do I pick against them? All I saw was, holy cow, they're number 24. This is awesome.
Yeah, defense has been outstanding for them as well. 19 points per game against.
Yeah,
They-
Sincere's the only reason I went with them. He's a monster, and he's just going to help them roll over Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, one of the best rushing defenses in the league in college football. 82 yards per game given up on the ground for UTSA. Very good. Over under is 60. And
I could see it getting there.
60?
well,
60?
I
Well,
could
actually,
too.
no,
I
'cause-
could too. No, I could too. I think it'll go over. With the
Over
same
60?
reasoning why I picked, the same reasoning why I picked Louisiana Tech against UTEP last weekend, because they have Austin Kendall at quarterback.
What was the score last week?
Well, they lost, obviously. It was 19-3, but they turned it over a lot last weekend. I mean,
Can't be. I'm not buying this 60.
he has 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions for Austin Kendall. So
I'm not buying. If it goes 60, I think Louisiana Tech might win.
well, you're gonna have to stream it somewhere because there's no network, but it's at 7 p.m. Mark, if you'd like to tune in.
Dang. 60.
I'll just monitor it on my ESPN app.
Sunbelt, South Alabama at UL Monroe.
I thought one of you guys would pick ULM. I thought one of you guys.
Nope,
I
that
did
game last
too.
week was a fluke.
I did too. But no, I'm going with Jalen Tolbert, who is my guy that I know the most from USA, and South Carolina, Utah quarterback Jake Bentley. That's who I'm rolling with.
I mean, Alabama has players after players, so I was like, yeah, South Alabama will win.
But Louisiana doesn't have players? That's what you're saying?
No, they do. It's a good program, but if you know anything about Alabama, sometimes you have to go with these teams.
Over under is 51. And it's not going to
You
get.
can't get everybody to the University of Alabama. I would take players that can't go there.
That is ridiculous. If you look at ULM's
I just
point,
don't know why it's 13.5.
offensive. Look at the points. Offensively, UL Monroe, they put up 18 points per game. You want to know how much they give up? 35.
Oh, God.
And they're 3-3.
Oof.
Over
Just because you laugh, they will lose. Mark my
over
words.
under 51. That's why I said under, because South Alabama gives up only 19 points per game. 7 p.m. ESPN 3. ESPN 3.
My
And
dog
other, dude, this one and the San Diego State Air Force game. I mean, Mountain West is just rolling this weekend. There are going to be some things figured out, and we will kind of start to see the clear picture of who is going to the Mountain West Championship and who isn't. Because Nevada is going to Fresno State, and I hate this game because I love both the quarterbacks, but you run with the one who brought you, right, Mark? You will always remember your first love.
I thought
love.
we were gonna roll with.
My first love was Carson Strong. I didn't fall in love with Jake Hayner until this year.
The reason that we're going with Nevada, in my opinion, is Fresno State. He gets beat up. He has to do everything until the last minute. I think Nevada helps out their quarterback just a little bit more.
I'm somewhat surprised that I'm actually lone wolf in this one. But one of the main reasons that I am doesn't really have anything to do with this game, but I'm still mad at Nevada because I picked them in their only loss that they have this season. And yeah, so I don't ever want to pick them again because I feel like they're going to make me lose even more games. And I mean, Fresno State isn't a bad pick as it is. I mean, they are the favorite. They are at home. And yeah, they've played some good football this season. So I expect that to continue.
It's going to be one of the best games out there this weekend. Just saying.
Mm.
Over under is 64, and we're going over. A lot of points. A lot of. I don't care.
I have to apologize. Rusty knows my dogs, and man, Gurley is not handling the death of Blanca very well. Get up here. Go.
Yeah, I don't care if Fresno State's only giving up 19 points per game. Both offenses are going to have good time in this one. 7 p.m. FS2.
Get up here now.
Big Ten. Number 5, Ohio State at Indiana in Bloomington. And it's not going to matter. As much as I love Tom Allen, Ohio State's playing lights out right now, and they're going to roll Indiana. So,
Yeah, Ohio State's got this one in the bag.
see, when you say things like that, though, Chris.
Well, it goes back to, I think the Big Ten, top to bottom, people are going to think this is a Farsi to say this. Top to bottom is better than the SEC. I think I will say this on camera right now for everybody. The SEC East is weak. And that's why Kirby Smart has to figure out what's he going to do. Are you going to win a national championship, or are you just going to win SEC championship? SEC East championship. And I told you guys this. I picked Ohio State in the college football. They're starting to hit their stride. And that's the only thing that scares me, because is their defense been good all season? Nope. But they're starting to hit that stride. And no one can go undefeated anymore. I'm telling you guys that.
It's okay. They won't be in stride next weekend. It's fine. Over under is 60. And we're rolling the over.
7:30
ABC. I hate this is such a stupid ABC game.
Kirby Smart, win a championship in the next 2 years, or you're not going to.
I can't believe I'm gonna friggin' listen to Kirk Herbstreit call this game. USC at number 13, Notre Dame. This is for
None of us.
For anyone that doesn't know, this is one of the most
Best rivalry.
unknown rivalries that there is. I mean, USC and Notre Dame hate each other, which is so weird considering one's in California and one's in Indiana. But yeah, they have played quite a few times, and it's been games and games and games. Notre Dame usually comes out on top, though, and that's how we all feel.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if this was an L for all of us, though, because this, I mean, you already said the teams have played each other a lot. They're competitive for the most part, but I don't know. I just went with the favorite here. Notre Dame gets the 7-point spread, and yeah,
I
they
thought
are the home
one
team.
of us.
They are the ranked team. Everything's going in their favor, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we come in on Monday and we all lost this game.
Yeah, I'm taking USC +7 though. It's the Kelly and Vegas parlay. Weekly.
I thought someone took Slovis. I really did. I didn't think all of us would take Notre Dame.
No. USC is in disarray right now. They have no idea what they're doing since Clay Helton got fired, which I forgot to say when you were mentioning coaches. USC has been open for a while, but yeah.
Is there a chance that they play like really well for the coach that's interim right now? Is that a chance?
No. Over under 58. Under.
Yeah.
7:30 NBC. It's not on Peacock this weekend. You can actually watch.
I know. That's exciting. That is exciting.
SEC, South Carolina at number 17, Texas A&M. We're all Aggies. Go Aggies. It's in Aggie land, College Station. Yeah, they're gonna have fun. They should have fun. Zach Calzada and the gang.
Mm-hmm.
Over under is. Go ahead.
I don't think this is a close game. I think the interesting story is still South Carolina, though, if that makes sense. Like, why am I not showed on the camera?
Zeb's still playing, right?
Sorry. Zeb
Zeb?
Nolan,
Is it
I
Dick?
didn't know was someone that I coached with at Oconee County. So I think that's amazing. I told you guys about that in the South Carolina, Georgia. He's a GA. His dad is a state championship winning football coach here in Athens. They have the best program in Athens. And his son played at North Dakota and now is a GA at South Carolina. They suited him up. But I still don't like 19.5. Texas A&M is going to win. And I'll go back to what I said earlier, not to have a longer conversation. Why the heck did Texas A&M give Jimbo Fisher an extension until 2026? Okay, great. They did that at the beginning or the second weekend when they were 1-2 or 1-1. And then he beat Alabama.
Because they knew. Because he told them they were going to beat Alabama.
Yeah, but I still don't see him winning a championship.
It doesn't matter as long as he beat Alabama.
If no one's told anybody this, Texas A&M has the most money in college athletics. No one will talk about that. That's maybe the cat in the bag. They have more money than Texas.
All right, we're talking about this game way too long than we should have. It's a freaking 19.5 point spread, Mark.
They're killing them. They're killing them.
I'm not sure who's starting for South Carolina. Zeb Nolan came in last weekend in relief of Luke Doty. So we'll have to see who starts the over-under is 45. It's low. 45 for the over-under. I'm surprised that it's not in the 50s. But Chris is going to make the determination on this one. So
I was going to say, like you said, it seems kind of low to me. I expect the score to be in the 50s, so I'm going over.
7:30 SEC Network.
No one's watching.
Number 18, NC State at Miami. I hope freaking NC State destroys Miami because they screwed me out of a parlay last weekend. They should have. And I hope the stomp them.
I thought Chris would take the U.
Nope, I jumped off their bandwagon a long time ago. As soon as we stopped having them on our show for a few weeks, I decided I'm not putting them back on, even if they do come back on, which they are here, but only because they're playing against a ranked team right now.
You guys know my hate-love relationship. I picked BC last week. NC State destroyed them. I'm not doing that again.
Devin Leary is going to throw for 304 touchdowns. Not really, because they'll be up enough early on that Zonovan Knight will run for a lot of yards. So
I think they'll win the ACC this year.
They could.
Over-under is 53. Over. 7:30 ESPN2. Just want to say Memphis UCF just kicked off.
All of us on UVA. Okay.
Georgia Tech at Virginia. Yeah, it's at home.
Here's how Virginia wins this. I don't care how many points they score or anything. They control the tempo. They win this game. Georgia Tech has performed better than what everybody thought, but they can't keep up with the tempo, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been impressed by Brennan Armstrong this year. Not so impressed with Tech, even though, they had their game against Clemson that they probably should have won. But then they then they kill UNC. Then they get killed by Pitt. They're so inconsistent. UVA is on a 3-game win streak. So, go Cavs. 64 over under. It's a lot of points under.
Mhm.
Not sold on Tech's offense. Jeff Sims and co.
It's the tempo. I'm telling you.
7:30 ACC network. Last FBS game here, Utah at Oregon State. And of course, Mark is rolling with the Ute once again. They're favored on the road.
Look, I don't like that they're favored, but the one reason I picked them last week was I think they're hitting their stride. Does that make sense? I think Corvallis is a hard place to play. I think this is probably in all of NCAA's the best bet against the spread. But this is the Utah team that I thought was going to win maybe the Pac-12.
Yeah, I'm going with the Beavs just because I'm a big believer in Chance Nolan at quarterback. I think they finally got that right. And, they're coming off a loss, a one-score game, 31-24 loss at Washington State last week. But before that, they were playing fantastic ball. They destroyed Hawaii, shut out 42-0 against Idaho. Then they killed USC at the Coliseum.
Yep.
And they beat Washington 27-24. Utah is definitely good too. They're on a 3-game win streak. Washington State, USC, Arizona State. They killed USC too. So
what I got from that was it's conference. It's conference. Does that make sense?
Yeah. My initial pick was Utah, but I talked myself into going with the Beavers.
Corvallis is a hard place to play, and
That's why.
I think this is almost a pick'em game in my opinion. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer here. Obviously, there will be on Monday. One of us is going to lose, but
See, Key, he said one of us. He said one of us.
But yeah, I couldn't go against the home team here in Oregon State. We've already said it that it's a tough place to play up there. Even though Utah's rolling right now, I don't know.
I do have to throw this in. I almost got a job at Oregon State, so I'm going against them because they didn't hire me.
They also have a young quarterback. Or Cameron Rising's only a sophomore, so tough environment to play.
Come here.
Over under is 57, and I am going under. I think that's how Oregon State wins. Under 57. 7:30 Pac-12 network. FCS game of the week. Mark's alma mater, number 17, Missouri State.
Sorry, not happening.
At number 3,
this week.
North Dakota State in Fargo. The Fargo Dome. Holy hell. What a difference 6 months makes. North Dakota State is back.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I feel bad, Mark. The Bears are going to get
it's going to be a 2-touchdown, 3-touchdown game. All I'm saying.
But it is a Missouri Valley game, so you do never know. You never know.
Turnovers is the only thing that can make them win.
Wow. I just switched over to the FCS slate on ESPN app. There's one game going on right now tonight, and it's a shocker right now. Columbia is at Dartmouth, who is ranked, by the way, number 25, I believe, Dartmouth. Columbia's beat them 13-0 at Dartmouth.
Wow.
Ivy League. Well, we'd love to see. Yeah, the only other game that was really in consideration for this FCS game of the week, which I think it might end up being the best game of the weekend, was Rhode Island at Villanova. I don't have the rankings in front of me, but both in the top 25, both are 5-1. I think that could be a really good game. So,
Well, there's another game too. I noticed. I don't know. They're probably not ranked because they're both Ivy League schools, but there is an undefeated matchup between Princeton and Harvard, I believe.
yeah, Harvard's not ranked. I know that. Princeton is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't see that one, but that's because I was looking at ranked versus ranked matchups,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I try to do before I get into unranked. But yeah, another good one that should be going on. Freaking UCF already scored. 7-0. 7-0 UCF. All right. This one is 3:30 on ESPN Plus tomorrow. All right, NFL pick standings again. I told y'all I sucked last week. Chris, though.
Yeah, look at that.
Sterling record by Chris. 11.
The only game I got wrong was the Ravens against the Chargers.
But yeah, I mean, it is really it rivals your undefeated week last year.
Yeah, but that was 14-0 though, so that's as good as you can get.
Yeah. Okay. So Mark is still one game ahead of you, and I am now 6 games back, just like I am in college. So
How the heck did you go 11-1?
I was feeling confident with my picks last week.
yeah. Differences.
If you're gonna do that each week, I'm just gonna piggyback you. That's a ridiculous.
Differences in picks last weekend. There were only 3. Chris lone wolfed the Cardinals against the Browns, and then I lone wolfed the Dolphins against the Jags and the Broncos against the Raiders.
11-1 is get this man on national TV.
All right, let's go to the 1 p.m.
I'm still not clean though, so
1 p.m. games here. Panthers at the Giants. Mark, you and I have been on the Panthers all season. I mean, what is it going to take for us to get wins again with the Panthers?
and I think it without injuries that we have to take that in consideration. But in the long run, if they didn't have the injuries that they have had, I do think they would be 5-2, or they'd be
at the least. Yeah, I think 4-2 at the least. But yeah, I like Panthers. They're against Giants. Giants suck, so go ahead.
Yeah, Giants have their own injury issues, and
they don't have an offense. I mean, they don't have any receivers.
The only thing I have to say about this game is it is Sam Darnold's return to New York, even though it is against the Giants. I remember a couple of years ago they made it a big deal when Odell came back to New York and he was playing against the Jets. So it's the same thing. Darnold coming back, facing off in his old stadium. I don't know. He doesn't have the best success there in MetLife, but he's on the better team. And yeah, I just think that the Carolina Panthers can easily win this one. I think it'll be a touchdown. It won't be a field goal.
It's
like
the
spread says.
It's the Snoopy Bowl adjacent. It's a former Jets quarterback. Over under is 43.
Do the Giants score enough? I don't know.
I don't think so. Panthers defense, even though they got lit up by the Vikings last week, I don't.
The Vikings are a much better offense than the Giants.
The Giants aren't the Vikings.
Exactly.
1-6 Giants. Go ahead. Washington football team at the Packers. I was not a big fan. Just like college, I was not a fan of most of the NFL matchups this weekend, especially when we get into the 425 games. I mean, what the spreads in those ones. But yeah, Packers. I have some friends that are going to this game. It should be a good one. It shouldn't be a good one, actually.
I was gonna say,
The Packers should. I'm hoping Aaron Rodgers throws for 304 touchdowns because I need him in
Oh,
fantasy.
so am I. All to Devontae. Let's go.
That's debatable, but I mean, I don't really care who he throws to. I don't have any of his receivers, so. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers should have a field day.
And we'll see how this stuff with Washington, like with the owner or whatever, we'll see how that affects the on-field stuff. But
Whitney Merciless making his debut
that too.
for Green Bay. Interesting. It's 10-10 now in UConn Mid-Tennessee game. Far cry from 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. We're 0-0. But yeah, over under is 49. That's pretty high. Pretty high.
I like it though.
I'm going under. No. I don't think Washington's gonna score enough. I hope Antonio Gibson plays though. I need him.
So do I.
No Titan. No Titan pick here.
No, because it's the same principle as Aaron Rodgers against Washington. Mahomes gonna throw the hell all over Tennessee, even though that's exactly what Josh Allen did, and it didn't work out. It should have. It freaking should have. But
yeah, I wanted to go Tennessee, but I don't know. I just something. I mean, it's hard to pick against the Chiefs, even though they are 3-3. They haven't had the best season. It's hard to pick against Mahomes and the Chiefs. And like Rusty just said, the Titans defense, specifically the secondary, is probably one of the worst in the league, especially now that they're down a guy with
Caleb
the
Farley.
injury to Farley.
Hmm.
So
the two things that I took from this game, or the three things, were Titans secondary, and I think that Mahomes can have his way. The second thing that is not, data or on game film is I do still think the Chiefs are the team to beat in their division. And so they have to get a leg up every game. And so I picked them. But everybody is stacking the box with Henry, and they have the worst. Who's going to stop Henry? And for me, either you're going to control the clock or you're going to stop the run at some point, and it's easier to throw a touchdown in the air than run. And so I picked the Chiefs.
Big thing that I haven't heard about yet, injury report wise, for the Chiefs. If Chris Jones returns for this game, that would be massive.
Yeah. I picked the Chiefs, but I'm kind of rooting for the Titans, only because that's the Jets' only win this season so far, and possibly the only win they get all season. So I would love to see the Titans run the table all the way through to the Super Bowl and win it. But
over-under is 58. High one. Really high. That's actually it's tied for the second. Or no, it is the highest. It is the highest of the weekend. 58. That's a lot. I like it though. I like the over 30 points each. Falcons at the Dolphins. Chris Lone Wolf and the Falcons.
That's fine. You guys can keep rolling with the Dolphins.
Well, you know what? Our friend Jack Fletcher says, Mark, every time. Why would you bet on Atlanta sports? It's exactly how he says it too.
I don't like either of these teams, so talk about it.
You know why I'm picking the Dolphins? Because their defense. Their defense hasn't been as good as they were last year, but Falcons defense is worse. And I think even though the Dolphins lost last week, I think Tua looked fine in his first game back. And if Parker can play in this one, I think that'll open it up even more for Jalen Waddle. And I think they will be able to get some ground game running in this one against a lesser defense, like I said. No Dante Fowler to rush the passer for Atlanta. Helps them out there as well. So,
Well, admittedly, I didn't know about the Fowler injury when I made this pick.
Well, it just happened.
However,
That's
well,
why.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know about it when I made the pick. However, I still wouldn't change my pick. I mean, you mentioned the Dolphins' anemic run game. I don't think that changes in this one. I think they still can't move the ball on the ground. And on the flip side, the Falcons, they have one of the best Swiss Army knives in all of football at the running back position with Cordarrelle Patterson. And I think if he can continue his early season success, I think they roll all over Miami.
Overrated.
Just say.
I do think they're using him in the right way, though.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, you know what's fantastic? On my Snapchat memories, 5 years ago today, the same day that the Cubs went to the World Series, Penn State beat Ohio State with the Grant Haley blocked field goal returned for a touchdown. Amazing game. And also this same day, October 22nd is a fantastic day. Last year, I won $400 winning the exact score, picking the exact score of the Rays Dodgers game 2, I believe it was, the World Series. Exactly 6-4.
Wow. Props
to my guy who I just name dropped already, Jack Fletcher. He's the one that got me that pick. Over under for this one's 48. We're going long again, guys. I know. Over under is 48. Sure, let's go over. Why not? I already said both defenses aren't that great. So Jets at the Patriots, Chris. I was thinking about it. I had a thought.
Yeah.
The Jets. I did.
I always have the thought of picking the Jets because I'm a Jets fan, but then I remember I'm a Jets fan, so I don't pick them. Yeah, they already played the Patriots earlier this season. That one was in MetLife, and it was probably the worst game that they've played all season so far. Maybe the Broncos game was worse, but the Patriots game was probably just as bad. But yes, the Patriots are now without Stephon Gilmore, who they didn't even have it all season anyway. And they're also down Chase Winovich.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that matters. I think that the Patriots defense will still be solid. They'll still be there to play. I assume Judon is good to go, right?
I haven't heard anything. That's
because he did get hurt in the game last week, but I don't know. I guess he's ready to play, and that just strengthens that defense anyway. So yeah.
Well,
again, the game against New England was probably Wilson's worst game of the season so far. And will he learn from the mistakes? Maybe. I don't think it'll be as bad as a game as the first one was, but I still think the Patriots win this one.
Since I'm already down 6 games to Mark, should I just switch? I need the Jets to beat the Patriots anyways for my third place and fourth place bets. So why not?
I went off 2 things. I went off 0 stats, 0 records. And my intuition says this is the game that Wilson goes, all right, I need to start playing good NFL football. And then I said, Belichick doesn't lose to rookie quarterbacks. So I went with the Patriots.
Well, I thought your intuition was going to say the Jets are the Jets. No, I'm picking the Patriots. But I think the way that the Jets can win this game, 1, Zach Wilson plays lights out. 2, they finally give 100% to Michael Carter in the backfield and let him get the lion's share. No more of this sharing the backfield crap with Tevin Coleman and Ty Johnson. And they also got to continue to keep Jamison Crowder highly targeted.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, I need a big game from Michael Carter too, so I would be perfectly fine with that. And I do agree, though, he is one of the big keys to a Jets victory.
And the Jets defense needs to somehow stop the now vibrant passing game of Mac Jones that they have.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I think that the Jets need to keep this game low scoring, because if it goes to a high scoring game like the game last week with the Cowboys and Patriots, I think they can't. I don't think they'll be able to keep up.
Well, it's 43, Chris.
Yeah.
Mark,
I think
we're
it'll
under.
be
Under.
I think it'll be something like a 24-17 game, something like that.
Bengals at the Ravens. Probably. I'd probably classify this as the best game of the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, probably one of the best, if not the best. I think the night game is also probably pretty good, but that's
I was considering Chiefs Titans, but I think this one's going to be better than that one. No one picked the bet. I thought someone was going to go with Joey B and Jamar Chase. My issue.
I learned my lesson last week.
Well,
I went against them, and that was my only loss, so I'm not doing that this week.
My issue is it's in Baltimore, and the Ravens, can run the ball.
I love what Joey, Mr. Burrows, has brought to Cincinnati. But every time that someone thinks they figured out Lamar Jackson, he finds a way to just wow you, and so I went with the Ravens.
I'm intrigued to see if the Ravens are committed to Le'Veon Bell and they move away from the committee of him, Latavius, and Devontae Freeman.
I wouldn't do that.
Highly doubt they will, but
I think that's a big reason why they were so good last week and in previous weeks, is because nobody really knows what's coming. All three running backs scored last week, so I would keep that up.
oh, what a shame. Tyson Williams. Over under is 47. I like the over.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Ravens defense has played well, but they haven't played Jamar Chase yet. All right, Eagles at the Raiders. And I was mad that Mark said he was rolling with me on this game. The only NFL pick that he said he was rolling with one or the other of us. And I
did
thought
it on purpose.
I thought for sure I was lone wolfing my Mike Vick jersey and NFC
that's
Conference
why I did it.
Eagles, because I just had a gut feeling that the Eagles are going to get this one. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason. I felt it. That's why.
I don't like this game, and so I said I'm rolling with Rusty so he doesn't go lone wolfing, because I knew you were picking the Eagles.
Yeah,
no way Chris is going 11-1 again.
Well, this game is going to help me catch up to you, Mark, because I lone wolf this one. I almost did consider going with the Eagles, though, so we would have all been on the Eagles train. However, I just I mean, everybody thought that the Raiders were done last week when everything happened with Gruden. But the Raiders came out last week, and they still found a way to win. They actually handled the Broncos pretty well, too. Granted, we saw even last night the Broncos aren't that good. But I don't think the Eagles are that good either. They're only 2-4. And I don't know. I just had a gut feeling to go with Las Vegas, and so I rolled with it.
I agree with you that I think the Raiders are actually a pretty good team. Whether it's Waller or the backfield or Carr has been better than what people have thought through the years.
Mm-hmm.
But the two things that bother me about the Raiders is they're on offense, and now Gruden's not there calling the plays. Is I do think they're dimensional. Like if you don't get Waller involved, you're not going to have the passing game. I think Jacobs is a little banged up, and this is a prime game for the Eagles to go, all right, let's go on the road. We're going to show you what we're about.
Well, they did lose to the Bucks by only a score, so hopefully that's the momentum they needed. I agree with every single Eagles fan out there that Miles Sanders has to be involved. Has to be. I tried to trade for him this weekend, got denied. So over under is 49, and I like the under. Eagles have been in some low scoring ish games.
Mm-hmm.
Lions, Matthew Stafford revenge game.
Yeah, this is going to be an ugly game.
Even though it's technically the Jared Goff revenge game because it's in LA. But Matthew Stafford's going to have some fun with his old team, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go out and get any Rams player you can, because they're going to score 1,000,000 points this weekend.
I wouldn't be surprised if this game is actually close because Matthew Stafford wanted out of Detroit. Jared Goff necessarily didn't want out of LA.
Well, yeah, because he knew that the defense was going to carry.
But the Rams were the ones that traded Goff. I don't necessarily feel the same way that the Lions actually traded Stafford. It was a mutual trade for them. I wouldn't be surprised if Goff comes out and plays well and makes it a close game and covers the spread at the very least.
Well, yeah, it is a huge spread, so I wouldn't be surprised about that. But I still think it could be a 2-touchdown game, though.
Mark, what do you think about your former quarterback coming back?
I never was a fan. You guys know that. But there's always a familiarity. Is that a good word?
Mm-hmm.
That I think makes it closer than 16. And wouldn't it be fitting that the first Lions, because I actually like Dan Campbell. I like his philosophy and his hunger and his intensity, that they find a way to win this game. Especially since we all picked it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams go 5-2 and the Lions get their first win. And I don't even think it's a discussion of who should be under center. And that's what I find funny, is no one would ever say, oh, the Rams should be better off with Goff, because it's not true. But I think it would be a great storyline. I think the NFL would pick it up. I think Stephen A. Smith would pick it up. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions win this somehow. Stupid as it sounds.
Yeah, it's fine. I just need fantasy points from Stafford, Kupp, Woods, and DeAndre Swift.
If the Lions win this, DeAndre Swift will be a fantasy guru this week.
Well, he already is. He's a PPR stud right now.
I know.
That's all he does is catch balls out of the back. He doesn't run for many yards, but he catches them.
Rams win this. Aaron
Donald, 51.
3 sacks. Jalen Ramsey interception.
I thought you were going to give a score. That's why I interrupted and said 51.
No.
All right, 51 over.
Yeah.
Another big one. We have 3 games this weekend of double-digit spreads, this being the biggest. Texans at the Cardinals, 6-0 Cards, and we are all on Arizona. I have Arizona defense starting in fantasy this week, which should be a fun time. But yeah,
The only thing I'll say about this is one of us should have picked this as a dog. That is a huge number.
Yeah, but I'm going for both points, not just one. There's no way the Texans win this game.
No, and that's what I do on all of our dogs. If no one's paid attention, I want to win the points against and the overall. But if there's any game, I think the Texans could lose by 14. Does that make sense?
Oh, good Lord. What are you doing, Calvin Austin? Jeez. I have no idea what this man is doing right now. If you don't catch the punt, let it roll. Don't try to go pick it up. UCF just got a turnover. It's God. Inside Tiger territory. Over under is 48, which is intriguing. I like the over though.
Uh-huh.
Even though
35-14, I'll take that.
Well, didn't the Texans only scored like 3 last weekend though?
Yeah, but they scored what, 22 against the Patriots or something like that?
Yeah, but that was with 3 trick plays.
That's true.
And this is the third double-digit spread here. Bears at the Bucks. I could see this game going sort of like how the Bucks-Dolphins game went, because it's in Tampa, and the Bears are without Robert Quinn. They do still have Khalil Mack and Roquan and company, but I'm just saying Tom Brady's been on one right now. And,
this game, to me, I think was one of the hardest ones to read, though. Yeah, I think the Bucs are going to win, but I don't think it's that easy because we already mentioned earlier in the show the Bucs are going to be without Gronkowski and Antonio Brown, who are probably Brady's 2 favorite targets, and he's not going to have them to throw to. Granted, he has so many other weapons, so it's probably not going to matter that much. But still, I think it's going to make a big enough impact where this game is going to be a lot closer than people think.
This would be. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna move to the other side of the ball. The defense for the Bucks, even without Levante David, I think that playing a rookie quarterback, that's gonna be tough times for Justin Fields. Good Lord, it's freaking 14-0 UCF.
The things that would bother me about this game is, and if no one talks about it, Brady is playing at his age because he's never been hit. The one time he was hit, he had ACL injury. And so you have Roquan, you have Khalil Mack. That's why I think the 12.5 could be under that. I could care less who he's throwing. I could care less who he's throwing to because he's thrown to Deion Branch. Then he's thrown to nobody. He's thrown to Amendola. He's thrown to all these guys. I could care less who's in the secondary with injuries. That's never bothered me. It's what is your game plan to get to Tom Brady? Because I'm not taking anything away from him as the greatest quarterback, but if you can get to him, he's not the greatest quarterback, and that translates to Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Brett Favre. If you can get to him, it changes the landscape.
Over-under is 47.
And wait, the Bears were one of the losses for the Buccaneers last year, weren't they?
On a Thursday when he didn't know it was supposed to be 4th down.
Oh, yeah, that was that game. That's what I thought. I mean, it's a whole different ball game a year later, but
yeah, that one
an interesting note.
That one was in primetime and in Chicago.
He smokes him. He smokes him.
Over-under is 47, like I said. So
by 8.
Take that. I'd like to. Sunday Night Football, Colts at the Niners. I was shocked no one took San Fran. Very shocked.
I am too.
I
But-
thought that I was lone wolfing the Colts.
But it's fine. It's fine.
I
Because
really
you know
did.
why? You know why? Because Carson Wentz is
Uh-huh.
back to his 2017 MVP caliber season.
Mhm.
And he has one of the best running backs running the ball right now in
Mhm.
Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor is going to put up another 30-point performance this week in fantasy, make it 3 straight.
Mhm. Yeah, that's why I went with the Colts too. Their offense has been incredible, especially recently, and despite them losing, who was it? Campbell, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was Campbell, right? Despite them losing him, they still got T.Y. Hilton back, who had a pretty good game last week, and they still have Michael Pittman, and they still got their tight end too with Mo Alley Cox.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, that offense will be fine. It is in San Francisco, which is the only
defense.
thing that I'm kind of shaky about. But yeah, I think that the Colts defense also will be able to take care of business. I think it's actually a benefit for the Colts that Jimmy Garoppolo is starting.
I was talking about the Niners defense. That's the only caution I have with the game. Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and co.
Well, yeah. If they can get to Carson and knock him out of the game, then yes, it'll be trouble. But that's if they can get to.
I like what I've seen from the Colts, and they've lost some games up against the Ravens. Let them come back. I just thought this was a game that they could win. It's prime time. In my opinion, I know the game plan of Shanahan. We're going to run it enough until it opens up play action. Then you have Bosa, you have George Kittle. And yes, those guys are really talented. In my opinion, though, it's not that hard to game plan against the 49ers. I'm not a coach. I'm not up in the booth. But this is a talented team that I think is the easiest talented team to coach against, if that makes sense. I hate to say that. Put it on record. Let's talk about it. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Over under is 44. 44.
I like it.
Under. Defense. All right, my best bets of the week. 1 and 2 last week after 2 straight 2-1 weeks. So we're back 3 games below 500. This week was a tough one. I struggled this week trying to find 3 games out of the 11 that we were picking. You know, I had 3 less games to pick from. So I don't know. We might go 0-3 this week. We might not. But the Panthers, for the second straight week, I don't know if it's the third straight. It's definitely the second straight week that I'm picking Carolina. I picked them last week against the Vikings plus 1.5. Oh, I forgot to say that. My other 2 for last week were the Cowboys in a miracle cover, minus 3.5 at New England. And then I had the Steelers minus 5 against the Seahawks, which I was hoping for another miracle cover in overtime. They should have. They again. Go for the end zone in overtime when you have extra downs. At least run the ball. I don't care. Freaking kickers. But yeah, I like Carolina minus 3 at the Giants. We're all on the Panthers in that one. So, and Chris, I know, said touchdown game for the Panthers.
Yeah, I like that one.
Chiefs minus 4.5 at the Titans. Like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout, but I think they can get it done. I got Burns with picking the Bills minus 6 last week, or Monday night in Tennessee, but this afternoon game, it's different environment. So And then Bucks minus 12.5 versus Chicago. Like I said, I think this is going to be a Dolphins kind of game for the Bucks, and they're going to roll the Bears.
Even if that is the case, I don't know. The double-digit things scare me a lot.
The only other one I considered was Packers minus 7.5 at home against Washington.
Yeah.
That one.
I mean, like you said at the beginning, though, it was tough picks this week because we had 3 less games to start with, and a lot of these games were bad games. So
yeah, that one and the Bengals plus 6.5, but that one was not as close to getting on the board as the Packers was.
Mm-hmm.
It is 24-13 at halftime, Mid-Tennessee over UConn. And I have no idea what Memphis is doing right now. 14-0 down. Great.
Losing.
Locks of the week. Y'all, we're doing great. 6-1 each. We all got ours last week. 3 different ones. Chris was on the Chiefs, who beat Washington. Mark had the Steelers, who beat Seattle. And then I was on the Cowboys, who beat the Patriots.
Yeah, we all had very shaky picks, though, because your 2 went to overtime, and mine, the Chiefs were down at halftime. So
yeah, well,
it worked out in the end, but yeah.
we were all different last week. We're all the same this week. We are rolling with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Everyone on tap. Go get it, A-Rod. Have yourself a day, young man.
We either go down swinging and we don't go down.
All right, dog standings. Mark, how the mighty have fallen. 0-2 for Mark and I once again. I am the first one to go below 500. Chris 2-0, 10-4.
What?
Pretty good.
Before we move on to the next slide, what makes me mad is I picked the Jaguars to win their first ball game, and I know Chris did as well. And I should have just said that's my dog.
Yeah. Chris was on the Cardinals plus 3.5 at Cleveland. I was on the Chargers plus 2.5 at Baltimore. And then Mark,
that's
the Panthers.
Well, it should go 1-1. It should go 1-1 if it goes to overtime.
No.
Yes.
Plus
the NFL overtime is out.
You don't get a win in betting if you have the spread on the underdog and it goes to overtime. They don't cover.
Well, we shouldn't do both the cover. We should just do you pick your dog, whatever. It should.
That's the whole point. You get 2 wins.
I'm not a bettor.
This week, Mark, we're together this week. It's okay. We will.
I hope.
Bring Chris down. We will bring.
I hope we get back into the win column. I hope we get back to it.
We will bring Chris down in a team effort, and we will also drag him down because
we all picked
because they picked the Falcons.
We all picked the Colts, so this is hilarious.
But Chris lone wolfed the Falcons, so we can double up and beat him twice.
Or I gained 2 on everybody.
I think we're all winning this week. We're all winning.
But yeah, Chris is plus 4 at the Niners. Mark and I plus 2.5 home against the Falcons. Yeah, I like the Colts. It'll be close.
I think I at least get 1 point. I think the Colts at the very least cover.
This is true. This is why I agree with Mark when he said I hate the 2.5, which is true, but that's fine.
I'm just mad at myself last week because I talk about intuition. And I was like, this is the week that the Jaguars win. Why didn't I just make them my dog?
Hell yeah, touchdown, Tigers!
And now you're going with the team that the Jaguars beat last week, so.
I know. It's not good. It's not good company, Chris.
This week sucked in games. All right. Next week we'll be back regular season week 8. It is 14-7 UCF up on Memphis, but they just scored, so that's great. Memphis, go Memphis. Monday Night Football matchup, Saints at Seahawks. And the Thursday night matchup, Cardinals hosting the Packers.
That's going to be a great Thursday night game.
First loss for the Cardinals.
Could be.
That's not what I wanted to do. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, FAApodcast.com.
Buy some merchandise.
Yes, we have our store up on our Facebook page. And check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, as well as here on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you all.
Getting cold.
See ya
Walking
on-
all you